if at any point you want to go back and rewatch different parts, you will have that option. If you have any questions, make sure you ask in the chat area, and Lillian will help me answer questions. And then if there's something she can't answer, she'll say, hey, Marley, we have a question, and let me know what your question is. So without further ado, I'm going to let Lillian take it away, my friend.
Thanks, Marley. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another live community classroom with Michaels. Today we have Marley from the Marley Bird with us ready for another exciting class. Today we'll be crocheting snowflake ornaments. My name is Lillian from Yarnspirations, and I'll be helping you with any questions you might have during tonight's class. Feel free to ask the questions in the chat here, and we'll be sure that Marley answers them, as she said. While we're giving you some time to join the class, feel free to let us know where you're watching from. And just a reminder that today's class is being recorded, and you can find the recording on michaels.com/classes, as Marley said.
Awesome. Doesn't she have the best accent, you guys?
No, you're
from
too
New Zealand. I love it. I just like, tell me some more. So you want to read the pattern for me, Lillian? Because that would be fun. All right, y'all. So I can see a lot of you already like pulling out your yarn guts and getting ready to like dive in, because that's what we all do, right? So I am using leftover yarn. This is my Super Saver yarn. I love that Debbie's face was like, really, Marley? Can't pull something out a little prettier? No. So I'm just going to use some Super Saver yarn, and I'm using a color blue so that way I can have it show up on camera. I'm also going to use a larger crochet hook than what is recommended in the pattern because it's purpley pink color, and I figure it will show up easier in the video. But the pattern itself actually calls for a size F pattern, which is I think a 3.75. So if you want to make these like really nice and tight, you can use a smaller hook. If you want to get the hang of things and you want to use a bigger hook, I mean, why not? This is your snowflake. You can make it whatever size you want. If you want to change it up and use bulky weight yarn and some really big hook, please do so. You have fun with this, all right? So we are going to jump in. Show of hands real quick. How many of you are crocheters? Like, meaning you're not like a super beginner crocheter, because this is one of those things that I can't, like, it's not for like super duper beginners, but it's absolutely for people who have crocheted before a long time ago. I see somebody say, all right, so we're going to take it slow. We'll probably get through one, maybe 1.5 of these today. So this is what we'll be making. It is only 4 rounds. So that means it's going to go rather quickly because there's not a whole lot of stitches, and it's just a bunch of repeats as you're going around. So we'll take our time and we'll work together and make this happen. All right. So here we go, y'all. We're going to start off with a slip knot on our hook. You can make a slip knot however you wish. I like to put the tail in the palm of my hand, take my working yarn, wrap it around my forefinger and middle finger. And when I come back up, I cross over. And then when I rotate my hand over, I can go underneath that front loop, grab the back loop and pull it off. And I have myself a slip knot. Okay, pretty easy. Like I said, you can make a slip knot however you want. That's actually the easiest way I know how to teach it to people. So that's why I always explain it that way. We're going to start with a slip knot on our hook. And just a reminder, you never count the loop on your hook as a stitch. So when the instructions say to chain 6, you will not count that as 1. You actually will chain a complete stitch before we do that. So, Raina, I just had a question that somebody said they can't see my hands. Is it the video, or is it like with lighting? Should I have better lighting?
No, I think it's a technical glitch that we've actually been having with Zoom for the past couple of classes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No, you're good. So I would just suggest to that person, make sure that your front-facing video is not pinned, and you may need to leave the class and come back, and that should fix it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that was all me. Okay, so everybody can see my hands, right? If you can't, let me know in the chat for sure. Okay, so we're going to chain 6. So I'm just going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have 6 lovely chains, and we're going to turn this into a ring by doing a slip stitch into that first chain down there. So I'm going to take my hook, go all the way down into the first chain. I don't care if you just go into the back loop, if you go into the front loop, if you go into 2 loops, it doesn't really matter. We're going to cover all of that up. You pull up a loop and pull that loop through the one on your hook. So we have a nice little ring right there. The beauty of working one of these snowflakes is that we're going to start off by placing all of our stitches in that ring. And that makes it super easy because we don't have to stress about placing stitches in an actual chain or a stitch, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is chain 1. Once I do that chain 1, I am going to place 12 single crochets into that ring. So I'll be placing my hook right there down the center and single crocheting around it. I'm going to also grab a stitch marker here that we're going to add to the first stitch after we complete it. So I will go into that loop, that big ring we just created, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and draw through 2. I now take my stitch marker and I'm going to place it into that V behind the loop on my hook. That's the top of my stitch I just created. The reason I do that is it really helps me see where the last stitch is, okay? So I have a hard time seeing where the stitches are, so I use stitch markers quite a bit. So we have 1 single crochet and we want 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're coming up to the end where you're getting real close, because we're working around these chains, all you have to do is just scooch them. Just scooch them a little bit to give yourself a little bit of room. I've already lost count. I think that was 10. So here's 11 and 12. That's what happens when I stop and talk when I'm counting. I know you guys can relate. I mean, I can see you right out there right now. All right, so because I want to make sure I have the correct number, I'm going to come over here. I always find where I have my marker. I know that's my first stitch. And I'm looking at the top of my work here. I look at those V's and I count those. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's perfect. I have 12 stitches here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hit my camera. Get some more yarn. And we're going to join with a slip stitch. Now you might be like, where do you join with the slip stitch? Well, that's the beauty of the stitch marker. We go right to where we put our stitch marker, stick your hook right in there, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull that loop through the loop that's on your hook. Okay? I can remove my stitch marker now because I will be moving it up. But at this point, this is what we have. We have a nice round ring with single crochets all the way around it. So what we are going to do now, if you're looking at this, this is what we've just created, is this nice little ring. Now we're going to begin to build our petals of do snowflakes have petals? Is that what you call them? We're going to build our petals around, okay? So for round 2, we do not turn our work, which I wish it said in the pattern, do not turn, but it doesn't. So we're not going to turn our work. We keep it just like this. So we're always going to have this side facing us. And we start off with a chain 1. And then it says single crochet in the first stitch. So I always single crochet in the one I join to because that is the first stitch. So I single crochet into the first stitch. Once again, I take my marker and I place it in the resulting V at the top of the stitch. So that way I can find it. And if you're looking at the instructions, it's at this point you see that there are some brackets and it says chain 3, single crochet in the next single crochet. And then there's a number outside of the brackets that say 11 times. So that means we're going to do all of the instructions inside the brackets 11 times. So let's do it for the first time. So we chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then it says single crochet in the next stitch. So I find where my next stitch is on my ring and it's where that V is. I stick my hook right into that V and I will single crochet. So that was one time of the 11 times I need to do it. So I'm going to continue on doing that. So I will chain 3 and then single crochet into the next chain. So that was 2. Oops. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And here's 11. Okay, so we finish off where that's our last single crochet. Now you'll see that it says to half double crochet into that single crochet that we started with. So I will yarn over my hook, place my hook into where I have the slip stitch or the marker, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. Here's a little note. The reason that you end with a half double crochet into that, instead of doing chain 3 and a slip stitch over there, is that half double crochet now puts our hook right here in the middle of this section. And so it puts us in the proper placement to carry on to the next round. Okay, so at this point, this is what we have. I'm going to pause here just for a second to make sure you guys can catch up a little bit, because I know that I crochet a little bit quicker than some of you. I mean, you're doing this for the first time. I totally get it. So you have the chain 6, and then you single crochet in 12 times. And then we have to set up all of these petals, so to speak. Okay, I have those petals. Let me see, how are we doing on time? I could start this again real quick. Should I do that? Yeah.
Do you want to do a full snowflake and then another full snowflake, or do you want to?
I could do that.
Each
or I could pause right here
twice.
and then do it again. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'm gonna
entirely up to you.
Yeah, let's change it up tonight. Why not? We haven't done it this way in a class, so let's try that. So I'm just gonna set this aside. I'll actually put my marker in that loop and hold it, and we'll just make another, we'll get another snowflake started also. And I'll use a different color this time. How about I told you guys I had lots of yarn here waiting. I have lots of yarn that I need to use. So we'll use this really pretty sort of ice blue aqua color, because it's really pretty. All right, so I'm gonna try and give you guys some time to catch up, and at the same time, I'll do this all again. So I'm gonna start off with a slip knot. I'll chain 6. I will do a slip stitch into that first chain. Now I am going to go at the speed I normally go, guys, because I know that you can go back and rewatch this, but I'm just going to show you how this is done. And now I'll chain 1. I will single crochet 12 times around this circle. I'm going to grab another stitch marker because I always use stitch markers.
Ali, can I ask a quick question from Julie?
Absolutely.
She asked earlier if you could use the magic circle for this first part.
So you could use a magic circle. It's just going to give you a different look for the snowflake, because this snowflake, designed by Catherine Eng, is designed to have an open center. So the magic circle is meant to make the center closed. So if you wanted to, you absolutely could. I mean, you could make this snowflake your own and do that. But yeah, this is just that the designer made it this way so that it was an open circle at the center. But you could start with a magic loop if you wanted. I lost count because I was talking at the same time. So 1, 2, that's okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at that. I am amazing. Don't be sorry. That's part of the job, right?
Someone might think that you're a pro, Mally.
So I did 12. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet with that, where that marker is. So I joined with my slip stitch, and this is where I start the next step. So I chain 1, single crochet into that first single crochet, I will add my marker there so I know where that last single crochet is. And then this is where I work the repeat. So this is all the stuff that's in the bracket. I chain 3, single crochet in the next single crochet. And I will do that a total of 11 times. So that was 1. Chain 3, single crochet in the next single crochet. And if you have 12 single crochets, you really don't have to count too much, but at the same time, this is crochet. You really have to count almost all the time, right? To make sure everything is correct. Otherwise you get on the next round and you're like, whoops. How we doing?
We're good. We're doing good. We look like we're following along.
Okay, good. Hopefully, I mean, people should let me know if this is helping them, just kind of seeing these steps done again at this, you know, like so quickly after one after the other. It's the first time we've done something like this. Usually we complete the whole thing first and then go back, but this is just working up pretty quickly, so why not? You can make as many snowflakes as you want to decorate your tree, or if you wanted to make something where you join them together. I think we also have a couple patterns to show you that too.
Yeah, I'll pop them in.
Awesome. So I'm going to count here. So I started off with my first single. So this is my chain 3, and that's my first repeat. Chain 3, 2, chain 3, 3, chain 3, 4, chain 3, 5, chain 3, 6, chain 3, 7, chain 3, 8, chain 3, 9, chain 3, 10, chain 3, 11. And I'm back here to where I join with my half double crochet to my very first single crochet. So I yarn over my hook, go into where my single crochet is, yarn over, pull up a loop if I can do it without splitting the yarn. All right, and then yarn over and draw through all 3. Okay. Okay, so that's where we are. So I have 2 snowflakes now that are at the identical same point. So let's go back to this one just to put this one on hold. I mean, why not? Let's just kind of go back and forth. And we'll go back to this. So this one, we are on round 3. I'm going to take my marker out. I don't know if you guys do this. I do that all the time where I hold that so it doesn't go anywhere. And I'll put this back on. So we are on round 3. We start off with the chain 1. And it says to single crochet over your half double. So all that really means is, do you remember when I said that we created this half double here so that we put our hook like essentially right here in the center of what this would be a chain 3? So we're just going to single crochet just right here all around that entire double or half double. Just nothing pretty about it. Just put it right there. And then you have this nice V at the top of the stitch you created. So you can put your marker there so you know where it is. Okay. So we single crocheted over our half double. And now we have 2 things in the pattern. We have a star and parentheses. So the star indicates that that's the part where we repeat from. The parentheses indicate that we will do everything that's inside the parentheses in a particular stitch or space. So in this case, it's telling us that in this next chain 3 space, we are going to place 2 double crochets. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet and a second double crochet. Notice I'm going into that big space, and I will chain 3, and then I will place 2 more double crochet into this same space. So those are all of the instructions that are written in those parentheses. Okay, so all of the stuff in the parentheses all went to that one space. 2 doubles, chain 3, 2 doubles. Now it says to single crochet in the next chain 3 space. So I don't have to do anything else. I just come over here to the next chain 3 space and I single crochet. Now the instructions say to repeat from star. So I go back to where the star is and I notice it's outside of the parentheses. So I do this again. In this next chain 3 space, I will place 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and here's 2. I will chain 3, and then I will place 2 double crochets again in that same space. There's 1, and there's 2. In the next chain 3 space, I'm going to single crochet. And we've just completed another repeat. All right, so we're going to do that again. I go back to star, and that means I'm going to put 2 doubles into the next chain 3 space. I will chain 3. And then I put 2 doubles again in the chain 3 space. So there's 1 and 2. Single crochet in the next chain 3. And that completed another repeat. All right, just keep doing this all the way around. 1. Oop, keep want to split that yarn. 2 doubles, 3 chains, and 2 doubles. Single crochet in the next chain 3 space. You guys with me so far? As you're sort of looking like a star so far? All right, so here we go. We've got a couple more. Two doubles, chain 3, and 2 doubles. 1 and 2. Single crochet in the next chain 3 space. Now we have our last repeat here, but it's not a full repeat. You'll notice that there is a space in the pattern where it has 2 stars, and that means that it's at that point you're going to stop on this repeat, so that way we can finish the end of the round. So we start the repeat just like we have been with our 2 double crochets. See, you guys are getting more than just a crochet lesson. You're learning how to read a pattern. And then we do chain 3, and then we will do 2 double crochets all into that chain 3 space. So we put all of that into that chain 3 space. And then you'll notice this is where it says the double stars. So then what you will do is it says you will join with a slip stitch to our first single crochet. So instead of going to do a single crochet there, we've already completed that one. So I will go to my single crochet that I have marked, and I will join with a slip stitch. Take my marker out. Let's extend that up. This is what we should have. How we doing? Does everybody have that? I'm going to come over here and look at the gallery view so I can kind of see what you guys are doing. If you are working on it, oh, good. Okay, so I see it. I see it. I see you, Clarice. I see you, Debbie. Awesome. I see you, Zoe. Is it Zoika? Zoe? Zoika. I'm going to call you Z. That's awesome. All right. So many of you. Tracy, I see you. Michelle, I see you. Perfect. Barbara, I see you. So many of you. Fantastic, guys. You got this. Zoaha. Wait, Zoe Haha? Zoe Haha? All right. That's new. Zoe Haha. That's how you say your name, guys. Well, fantastic. It looks good. Okay. So we just did round 3 on this one. It looks like everybody's doing great. I'm going to get you started on round 4, and then we'll go back to round 3 on this one over here because we have it over here waiting, okay? So I'm going to get people started on round 4 here because that is the final round, so might as well get started. And it takes a while to do, so if I get them started, we'll catch up in just a few. So we start off round 4 with a chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we slip stitch into that same stitch that we slipped into to start. So I'm going to go into that same stitch I slipped into, and I'm going to slip stitch into it. Okay. Now I chain 2, and I'm coming up here to this chain 3 space. And so in this chain 3 space, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a single. We will do 3 chains. And then we do another single. We do 5 chains. We do another single. We do 3 chains. And then 1 more single. all into that chain 3 space. So you see how we've created this really cool sort of petal there. So it was a single, chain 3, single, chain 5, single, chain 3, single. Then we have to chain 2. We're going to come over here to where the single crochet is that we worked into that chain 3 space in the previous round. And in this single right here, we will do a slip stitch, chain 4, and another slip stitch. All right, I know some of you are like, wow, that's kind of a lot. It's really, it's sort of a rhythm. You're going to get it, okay? So you start off with the chain 2, and then all in this chain 3 space, you're going to do a single, chain 3, a single, chain 5, a single, chain 3, and then a single. Okay, we will chain 2, find your single crochet that you worked in the previous round. You will slip stitch into it, chain 4, and then slip stitch into it again. Everybody see that? Okay, so you're going to keep doing that all the way around, and you finish off the round with a slip stitch into right down here to the first stitch of the round. All right, so I'm going to leave you on round 4. I'm going to have you keep going with that, and we're going to go back over here to this one. For everybody who's on round 3 still, we're going to catch up over here, okay? Oop, I just dropped my stitch marker. Here we go, round 3. How's it looking out there? Okay. I got it. I see you. I see all of you. All right. It's actually, I love the gallery view because I can see all of you working. It's awesome. Okay. Here we go. I'm on round 3. On this one, I'm going to start round 3. So that's, so everybody, that's where I am. I start off with a chain 1, and I will single crochet around this half double. So I'm going to single crochet around that half double. Now I'm going to jump into my sequence. This is where I'm going to start building stitches into that single or chain 3 space, and then I'll do a single into that chain 3 space. So into this first chain 3 space, I'm going to do a double. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So I'll do 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. And then I chain 3. And then I do 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. All right, so all of that went into that one chain 3 space. Now into the next chain 3 space, I'm going to do a single crochet. All right, and we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. So in this next chain 3 space, we'll do 2 double crochets. So here's 1, and here's 2. Then we chain 3, and we do 2 double crochets. So there's 1, and here's 2. Single crochet in the next chain 3 space. See that so far? All right, I can see you guys getting it. I see you out there. All right, let's keep going. We'll do 2 doubles. Chain 3. And then 2 doubles. Do a single crochet in the next single. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit faster here to get around this snowflake. I always feel like one of you guys are going to time me and be like, she's not that fast. I don't know what she's talking about. She's not as fast as I am, because it's all about a competition. I see you. I see you out there who are smiling like, oh, she caught me. I know this. It happens. That's all right. I'm actually, when I try and go fast, my hook gets caught in every single strand of yarn, always.
Mally, would you be able to show us a close-up of where you're crocheting, the space you're crocheting into for the chain 3?
Sure. So it's 2 doubles and I'm into that chain 3. So let me rip out this last one that I just did. So we created, in that last round we did a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So it's in that whole space right there. That's where I'm going into the stitch. And then my eye is watering. You got to give me just a second. I got something in my eye and I don't know what's going on. Sorry guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me give you a topic. What is your favorite food at Thanksgiving? What's your favorite Thanksgiving? How about what's your favorite Thanksgiving extra? Like not turkey, not ham. What's your favorite Thanksgiving extra? Oh my gosh. I don't know what got in my eye, but something is in there. I am sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. My favorite is a meal. It's a little salad sort of thing. It's probably from the 70s that my mom makes. It's called Watergate salad. And it's with like the fruity marshmallows and pineapple and pistachio pudding and whipped cream. It's fantastic. I could eat a whole thing. Deborah agrees. Deborah knows what I'm talking about. It's delicious. It's my favorite. Okay. Green chili. Yum, girl. I'm from Colorado. I get you. Okay. So I'm back at it. Now that we all get hungry. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to put 2 doubles into this chain 3. So there's 1. And here is 2. Then I'll chain 3. Pistachio pound cake. That sounds delicious. And then I'll put 2 more doubles into that chain 3. Y'all seriously are going to make me hungry. Watergate salad. It's so good. It's the bomb. The bomb diggity. All right. So I'm at the end of my round. This was my start of my round. So I'll join with my slip stitch. And that completes my round 3. Okay. So I will get started on round 4 on this one. I saw somebody request that I go nice and slow on this round, so I'll do that for sure. April is asking, why does my snowflake curl and not stay flat? You could be actually crocheting too tightly. And one thing you could do though is when your whole thing is done, because these are snowflakes, you could pin it out on a board and then wet it with some water. I know people who use like starch on theirs to keep them stiff. I know other people who will actually they'll take an iron and they don't put the iron on it, but they'll use the steam to kind of steam it a little bit. I don't know. You can try a bunch of different things. But as far as if it's naturally curling sort of like this as you're making it, it could be that you are crocheting too tightly. But overall, if you block these out, like with this one right here, it hasn't been blocked at all. And you can see it's not very open. But if I were to block it, I could really open up those spaces for sure. Okay. All right. So let's start off round 4. So that way we know how this works. I got my hook. Somebody's asking my hook. So my hook, you guys, it's a Susan Bates hook. It just has a big handle. I got them from Etsy. I crochet a lot and I want to make sure that my hands don't get super tired. All right. All right. So I'm going to start off by chaining 4. I join with a slip stitch into that same stitch that I joined to end my round 3. I will chain 2. Now, in this next chain 3 space, this is where I'm going to create sort of like that petal. So I will do a single crochet. I will chain 3. And I will do another single crochet into that chain 3 space. So that's sort of like this little small petal. Now we want to make a kind of a bigger one. So we will chain 5. And then single crochet in that same chain 3 space. Can you see how that kind of created a bigger petal? But now we want another small one to match on this side. So we're going to chain 3 and then single crochet in that space again. So this is what we've created. Now we want to get back down here to this single crochet. So we're going to start off with the chain 2 because that sort of lets our hook travel down there, right? So that it's nice and neat. Get down here to where the single crochet is. And I'm just going to stick my hook right under the V of the single crochet. And I slip stitch, chain 4, and then slip stitch into that same space. Okay. And then I chain 2 and I kind of go back and start it all again. So we will do a single, chain 3, a single, chain 5, a single, chain 3, and then a single, chain 2, go to your single crochet, slip stitch, chain 4, slip stitch into that same space, and do it again. Can you guys see that? Okay, that's where I left off on this last one. So I'm sure all of you who are already to that point, you're already done with the round. Let me finish off and get this to the end of the round. I think I saw somebody say they were waiting to find out what happens at the end. Thank you for being patient and allowing me to try and let the other people catch up with us. I appreciate it so very much. So I'm just gonna cruise along. So I'm just making these little petals into those chain 3 spaces just like before. Chain 2, go to the single and slip stitch, chain 4, single and slip stitch, chain 2, single, 1, 2, 3, single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single, 1, 2, 3, single. I'm curious how many of you talk to yourself like this when you're crocheting. If I'm not talking, I just did a single crochet, see? Instead of a slip stitch there. Let me do a slip stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm not talking to myself, I'm then like so concentrating that I have my mouth gaping open. And I swear to you guys, there have been times that all of a sudden slobber has dripped from my mouth. And I'm like, you know, and my husband will be like, you all right over there? I'm just like, yep, I'm good. Nothing to see here. It's because I'm just super concentrating. You guys know what it is.
You ever forget to breathe?
Oh, I always forget to breathe.
All the time. My family look at me like, you need to breathe.
Yep. I'll be like, or I won't realize that I'm counting. Like I'm just so used to counting that all of a sudden in my head, I'll be like 16, 17, 18. And I'll be like, what the heck am I counting? And it will just be that I'm just counting stitches, just in the back of my head, just naturally counting them. And so that happens quite a bit. And here's sort of a side quirky note about Marley Bird, y'all. You ready? Sometimes I'll be driving, and if I'm truly in the zone, I will catch myself counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's what it is as I'm driving, I'm counting the lights. Like I'm counting them in a sequence, like I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I'm counting them in this order without even really thinking about it. Like I'm crazy.
I count my steps sometimes.
Yeah, it's just, and I will be up to a certain number. I've also been known to count cars that have passed me on the highway, and I'll be like, what am I counting? And then I realize because another car will pass, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm counting. It's just I don't know why. Maybe I was born to be a crocheter. I think I have 5 there. I'll do one more just for good measure. I don't even want to count anymore. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm to the end of the round. So I'm going to do my single crochet right here. Now I'm going to come over here and look at the instructions. It says that I need to end with a chain 2. So I need to do chain 2 and then slip stitch, chain 4, slip stitch in the next single crochet. So where's my next single crochet? Did I already do it? Did I not do it right? Repeat from start, ending. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was reading the wrong row. Slip stitch in the ending with the last repeat at star star, which was chain 2. Yep. Sorry guys, I got all sidetracked. All right, so there's my chain 2. And then I jump down here and it says join with the slip stitch to the slip stitch of the last round, which is right over here, right? So I'm going to come over here and join with the slip stitch. Now I'm going to give you a side note. The pattern itself right now says to fasten off and weave in your ends. And then the picture on the pattern shows this really pretty sort of ribbon just hanging from one of these points. I didn't want to do that because I'm lazy. And I'm like, well, I'm a crocheter. I can just make some chains. So that's what I did. I think I did like 30 chains, like whatever you think is long enough to actually get it on your tree. That's my secret, y'all. That's a designer tip from me to you. Don't say I never gave you nothing. So like right here, all I did is I just started chaining until I thought it was big enough. So I'm not even going to count. I'm just going to start chaining. And I know you guys are going to do the same. You're like, oh, well, that's kind of a cool idea. Marley, you're so smart. That's why they pay me the big bucks, y'all. So you just chain some and kind of fold it over and think to yourself, okay, is that long enough? And then you could chain some more, take some out, whatever you want to do. And then literally all I did is I went back over here where I did the slip stitch and I did another one. And then it's at that point that I fastened off. So I essentially do a chain 1. If you've never taken one of my classes, here's another pro tip. Add a pom-pom to your scissors. You will never lose them. And then just pull that out, give it a tug. I will weave in my tail, but that is my pom-pom there. Or not my pom-pom, that is my, what the heck is this called? Snowflake. That's what it looks like. Isn't it pretty? Man, that's a pretty color. It's really good. So I mean, obviously, if I used a larger yarn or even a bigger hook, I'd get a bigger size. I can make all sorts of different sizes. And I know Lillian, I think, put links in there. So like you can make a bunch of these and you can have them like actually linked together. You could make a tablecloth or a table runner or a shawl. Like there's a whole bunch of different options. But I mean, look at this. So this is Super Saver and this is Chic Sheep. This one is with a bigger hook than this one. But I mean, look at the size difference. So right there, guys, that's just using 2 different hook sizes. So you can see if you wanted to make just different size snowflakes, just have to change your hook size, change your yarn a little bit. I mean, you could do anything you want. And can we just appreciate the fact that that actually looks really cool, having one on top of another? Like that would be a really neat ornament, and just make it so that instead of doing it on one of them, so that you join both kind of at that point. That's really pretty. I don't know. That's really cool. So let's finish the other one. Can I get some feedback? How are we doing? Are we loving it? Are we loving it? Yeah. Very pretty, they say. Okay, that makes me feel good. I'm not the only one over here talking and counting to myself. Okay, so where did I leave off here? I did the slip stitch. All right, so it looks like I'm at a chain 2. Chain 2, and here we go. So I start with my single and then chain 3 and a single and then chain 4 and then a single. Awesome, April. I'm glad yours is laying flatter with your stitches a little bit looser. That makes perfect sense. I think I did a chain 4 instead of a chain 5 there because I wasn't thinking. I just want to make sure it looks the same. So there you go. Those of you who are catching this on replay, if you are having problems with your snowflake curling, if you loosen up your stitches a little bit, it'll straighten out your snowflake some. And blocking does help, y'all. So if you wanted to block them, it definitely helps. Lillian, are you going to make some snowflakes?
I'm going to make so many. Like so many. They're so pretty. And I really love the icy blue color.
Yeah, it's an unexpected bonus here, right? I mean, you don't get much snow in New Zealand, do you? I mean, obviously you don't live there right now, but
we don't. Snow is pretty rare, to be honest. I have a lot of friends that have even never seen the snow.
Wow.
But yeah, I certainly, like, one of my favorite things, I'm here in Toronto, so one of my favorite things about living in Canada is the seasons and just how excited everyone is for Christmas. in the holidays, because in New Zealand it's summertime, right? So we're just all heading to the beach and going for a swim.
Oh, that's so different.
So it's very different. Yeah. So it's really exciting.
Wow. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I have friends who live in Australia who it's the same thing. Like their Christmas, their holiday season is in the summer, just like, you know, because it's right there by New Zealand. Not that I need to give you a geography lesson, but I've always kind of said, I was like, that's so different than, you know, the way we here in the States have all been raised and growing up, where, you know, it's Christmas time is you know, for the most of America, I guess, except if you're in the South or whatnot, you think of white Christmas and like Santa and the North Pole. Like, does Santa Claus wear like Bermuda shorts where you are? I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. Like, I'm just being honest. Like,
he wears beach shorts, and I don't know if you know what jandals are, but they're like sandals or thongs. And he's usually pictured surfing. So Santa is a surfer in New Zealand.
That is so awesome. That's so funny. You know, so my kids growing up, we would set out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would always set out cake for Santa Claus, because we figured he got enough cookies at other people's houses. So we would get out cake and stuff. So I wonder, like, what do they do that also in New Zealand? It's kind of fun. Like, set out food for Santa.
Yeah, we do cookies and milk.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's cool. All right, so you guys catch what I just did there? So I did the chain 2 to finish. I did my slip stitch, and then I'm just, because I'm lazy, I'm gonna do chains to hang it on my tree. And you guys can do it too. Maybe we don't call it lazy. We say we're ingenuitive. In what's the word I'm looking for? Is that the right word? We're designers at heart. How about that?
Yeah, I'm having a mind blank too. I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's too late at night.
Ingenious. Somebody says it's ingenious, inventive. Yes, there you go, y'all. Those are the words. They have all the words. So I'm going to finish off with my little slip stitch. I'm curious how many people have put a pom-pom on their scissors since they first saw me do it, because it's really great. I have not lost those scissors. It's amazing. Okay, so there you go. The last thing you would do with this is weave in your tail. So I always use a tapestry needle. I love the bent tip metal needles because I can really get the stitches, or get the needle into the stitches without any problem. And you just kind of weave it around, and notice I'm on the back side of the snowflake. Just pull it up, come in. And I like to weave in my ends just in several different directions, just so they don't come undone and unravel. But the good news is, if this is an ornament, I mean, it's not going to get much action, so to speak. But as I mentioned, I know that there are people who they will soak their ornaments in like starch water and starch them so that they're nice and stiff. You could block it. You can do all sorts of different things. You can leave it as is. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But yeah, just weave in your tails and you have something really cool here. Something unique that you could do if you are into working with thread, you could use some of the Aunt Lydia's crochet thread and make this same snowflake, but with really dainty thread, and then use it as a pendant. So make a fun pendant. That is something you could absolutely do for sure. You just weave in your tails, give them a snip, and there you have it. Have a nice little snowflake. So in an hour's class, guys, we did 2 snowflakes. 2 snowflakes. I could weave in these tails too. Are there any other questions, Lillian?
It's a lot of people saying that they're going to rewatch.
Awesome.
Debbie says she wished she had the patience to work with thread because they could make very cute earrings.
Oh, yeah.
And actually,
definitely.
We do have a great pattern for snowflakes and Aunt Lydia's thread that I'll just pop in for everyone now.
Oh, that's a good call. And I didn't even know that. Look at me.
I know. You're a mind reader.
I am a mind reader, y'all. Let's see here. So fun. I am curious, how many of you are thinking about making gifts for the holidays? Going to Michael's, buying some fun yarn. I know that I have purchased so many Karen cakes because the colors just like speak to me. And I love the new swirl cakes. Like I'm obsessed with them. So I have all sorts of different Christmas gifts on my list. I'm curious how many of you are making gifts for the holidays. I already made some. Somebody said, since the Jolly Pickle class, I've made 10. Oh, look at you. I've called that my stress pickle. So I have the pickle. So everybody who's wondering, this is the Jolly Pickle class. Isn't that just the most adorable thing ever? So I've made 2 of these. One is on my tree. This is the other one that we have for the sample. And so I've been holding it like it's my stress pickle is what I've been calling it. But it is the cutest little thing. So this one is knit. It is super easy to do. But that is the pickle, those of you who are wondering. But these are the 2 snowflakes. There's a third one. That's a good color combination. Look at that. That's great.
That is beautiful.
Awesome. I'm loving it.
And Linda just suggested that they would be really beautiful gift toppers.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. They totally would, wouldn't they?
A bottle of wine or just for any gift, it would be gorgeous.
Yeah, that would be super cool. That's really awesome. That's a great idea.
If you're like my mom and you don't want people to know whose presents is whose, so they don't shake them and try to figure them out. Color code the tags.
Color code. That's
color
perfect.
Code them.
That is perfect. Awesome. Do you want to go back to my face so they're not?
Yeah.
I'll just like right down there and I'll just say, hey. So it was seriously, I see some of you still working. It's so lovely to spend an evening with you making something fun. I hope you had a good time doing it. Michelle, look at that. Oh, and Mariana. And let's see who else. We have Julie and Zohaha. And is that right? Did I say it right? Nope, I didn't. Yvonne and Debbie and let's see. I can't see. Just Zoe. Call you Zoe. That's what she says. Sorry, girlfriend. You know what? My real name is Marlena. Nobody gets it right. So there you go. You know what, Sonnet? Seriously, guys, this is such a joy to see all of you out there. And the fact that we're at the end of the class and you're still smiling, that's a win. If you have enjoyed this class, please be sure to let everybody know about these wonderful Michaels classes. They have so many available to you for crochet, for knitting, for beading, for just about everything under the sun, and they are a fun and a joy to do. If you like what we have done here, I am so happy. We're using Yarnspirations. We're sponsored by Yarnspirations. You can find me at Yarnspirations. You can find me on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over the place. I would love to see some of your finished work, so make sure you share with us. Use hashtag Yarnspirations or hashtag Marley Bird or hashtag Make It With Michaels. Is that a good one to do? But yeah, so that's it for me. Lillian, do you have anything else you need to share?
Yes, thank you. I'll just quickly say thanks everyone for joining us for this live community classroom with Michaels. And as Melly said, we would love to share your work. So share your work with hashtag Make It With Michaels or hashtag Yarnspirations. And just a reminder that you can find today's class on michaels.com. And you can also have a look at more classes on michaels.com/classes.
Perfect. Rachel is like cruising over there. She's like, I am not done. I am just going to zoom, zoom, zoom. Look at her. She's already finished one and she's on her second. Oh, it looks great. Oh, it's so fun. It's like, I don't want to leave class. I want to see everybody's work. It's so fun. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. This is awesome. So awesome.
Such beautiful work.
I know. It's so great. Bye, Michelle. Rachel is seriously zooming along. It's so awesome. I love it. I love it. Debbie is hard at work over there. So awesome.
Thanks so much, Melly. We love your work.
Thanks, hon. It's fun. I love these colors.
So yummy.
You know what? With so many different colors of Super Saver, you could seriously make a rainbow of snowflakes.
I love that idea, a rainbow tree.
Do you have your Christmas tree up yet?
Me?
Yes.
No, my birthday's this Sunday, so I always wait till after my birthday before I put my Christmas tree up.
You know what? I couldn't wait this year. I
for you.
had mine up since November 1st. Like I loved it.
That.
I was like, I'm putting it up. And we did ours in red and silver. So it's a lot of reds and silvers.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous. It's a really gorgeous tree. So much fun. I'm curious how many other people have their trees up already. Nope.
Not yet.
Nope. Not yet. Zoe says not yet. Deborah says not yet. Mariana says not yet. Yeah, I couldn't wait. I was like, I want a little bit of cheer. I just was like, let's pull it out. Let's pull it up.
Do you color code your tree? Like, is it all like color coded and pretty?
You know what? Yeah, it's like, it's beautiful. And it's because my mom has always put together my trees. Like she's
Same.
really good at it. And so this year, sadly, because of COVID and everything, she can't come out. And so my husband actually, so we have an artificial tree. So he put up the tree itself. And then my daughter decorated everything with my mom on like a FaceTime Zoom sort of call so that they were decorating it together. And so that was really kind of cool. It was neat to see that. Still neat. April says we have our outside lights up. That's one thing that we haven't done yet. So we need to do that. Jean says she has a wall hanging up. I have an awesome pom-pom wreath hanging up right now on the inside too. Amber, bye Amber. It's just fun. I love it. People are still hanging around, finishing up there's I keep wanting to call it a stocking. There's Snowflake. So neat. Raina, do you know what color your tree is going to be?
Oh yes, I've had my colors picked out for a long, long time, but I could never find them. So like I had gold and white and silver, and then I had to add some red because I was like, I need some color, like real color. But I always wanted to do like a really dark plum purple and white and gold, but I could never find purple. So I went with red for a long time, and then I've slowly been getting some purple things here and there. And I think this is the year that I have enough that I can actually do like my purple and white and gold tree. I'm excited.
Awesome. I've had a purple tree before. We like purple around here.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
it was.
Well, I've been finding purple, but it's like the Dr. Seuss purple. I don't know if you've like seen the paint commercial. They're like, it's not like a purple. It's like a purple. I need the purple.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah, here it was like a little argument about what color the tree was going to be, whether it was going to be red or purple, because purple is my boys. It's like their favorite color. Purple. My boys, they love purple and pink. They love purple and pink. So it's fun. Janetta says purple lights. Look for them during Halloween is what she says.
Yes. Well, I was going to do white lights, but I was trying to find like purple ornaments, which is super hard in the dark purple.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, here's like dark purple. And I'm like, that's a burgundy. That's not a purple.
Right. Very cool, y'all.
Is there any other color purple? No, Debbie, there is not.
No. That's fantastic. I love this. This is fantastic. Y'all are so wonderful. Oh my gosh. So I told you what my favorite Thanksgiving thing is. Watergate salad. Can't wait to make that. I also love sweet potatoes.
Do you eat your turkey with green chili like the next day like we do?
So I don't eat turkey. And it's not because I'm a vegetarian or anything. I just don't eat turkey. We're actually making meatloaf.
Oh.
I know, we're making meatloaf. And I live in Indiana now, so we don't have the same green chili here as we do in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, so we make it. Deal. Yeah. I'm in North Carolina now, so we have to make it. But yeah, that's the only way we will eat Thanksgiving leftovers is if we have green chili.
Yeah, it's really good.
Quick side note on the Watergate salad. Debbie says that her family calls it dream salad, which is also like a very on point name, I think.
Yeah, that is a very on point. It's so good. Those of you who want to make it, you just get the fruity marshmallows, get some Cool Whip and some pistachio pudding, like the instant pistachio pudding. So you mix the pudding with crushed pineapple and you don't drain the pineapple. So you mix the pudding with the crushed pineapple, mix that all up. And then you mix in the marshmallows. And so mix that all up. And then I put in walnuts, but if you're allergic to nuts, don't do it. But if you're allergic to nuts, don't eat it because it has pistachio pudding, right? So don't, just stay away. But we put in walnuts. So we mix that all up. So it looks like this green gelatinous sort of snot, whatever. So it looks awful with marshmallows in it. And then we put the Cool Whip and then you sort of, you would do like a meringue or whatever. So you don't screw up the Cool Whip. So you mix that all up. Oh, I'm salivating thinking about it. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. But anyways, coconut. Janetta says add coconut. That sounds really good. I should do that. That sounds really good. All right, y'all. Okay, well, that's it. That's our time for tonight, everybody. Make sure you hashtag us your snowflakes and your Thanksgiving meal. All right, it was fun hanging out with you, Lillian, and bye everybody else. It's so lovely to see you. Bye, Zoe. I'm sorry, you'll have to tell me how to do your name.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.